Hey guys, Jay here. Today I'm going to show you how I altered this Demon Lord Rimuru cosplay from that time I got reincarnated as a slime. So this is going to be a really long video. Sorry for that. I'll get through this intro as fast as possible. So in this video I'm going to be talking about, in order, the jacket, and then how to do the shirt, as well as the armbands, the scarf thingy, whatever that is, the first scarf thing, and then the belt, what I did for this belt. I also have the wig right here. It is just not cut. It's just a long blue wig that I cut. I'll link the one I got below, because at the time of me doing this, and the time of this coming out, the one that I want isn't in stock. So this is from Epic Cosplay, and those are the only ones I use for long wigs because they have something in them that makes them not tangle as easily, and then you can add more stuff from there, like detangling stuff. They're the best ones just right off the bat. And the one I got was the Persephone, I believe, which, or however you pronounce that. And then that one is really, really long, so I have to cut it. The one I want is the Nyx, which is the one I had for my old Rimuru cosplay, but they're out of that in every color that would work for Rimuru. They're all back ordered. So, and they told me that they're gonna get more in, but they don't know if they're gonna be sold out when they get those in or not, because there's so many orders for them apparently. And then the pants are over here. They're just gray slacks, and the boots are down here, and I'll link those in the description, but they're just boots that I bought. I didn't do anything to them. I also didn't do anything to the pants. They're just gray slacks. They just so happen to match this gray shirt really well, and I got them at completely separate times and didn't even know that they were going to match as well as they did. So it works. So I should cut this here and go into the actual video itself. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do here is the jacket. I would love to do this on my machine, but that ain't going to happen. There's no way I can get this on there. I would have to take everything apart, and I'm not doing all of that. So I'm going to do this the hard way. The first thing I'm going to do is, so I have thread with a needle here, but I have this silver ribbon. This is going to go on top of the one that's already there, but I'm going to take this one off. This is just top stitched on here, so I'm just going to unstitch this one and then put this one in its place. So I need to get a seam ripper. However, I don't know where mine is. So let's put this needle away actually for now. I do need a seam ripper, but I can't find mine. So we're going to go the difficult route, the more annoying route, and just use this. So this is just an X-Acto knife. So, okay, this is going to be annoying. The end here, it's sewn over it. So, and yeah, it looks like it's on both sides. So I'm going to have to carefully do that there as well. I'm going to have to cut it off, but it's fine. I'll figure it out. So I have to go under here, under all the stitches, and unstitch this entire thing. And as you can see, I can get under it now. And then I just do that all the way around. I'm going to cut it off at the end inside where it's folded over, and then I'm going to cut it right up until this black line here, and then when I'm just going to put that over that. It's going to have to be how it is. Nothing I can do about it. So you might be able to see that through the one I'm putting on it, but it's not a big deal. I would go straight over this one, but this stuff is thin enough that you can see it through. You can see the little one inside it, so I don't want to do that. So it's probably hard to see there, but there we go. You can see right there. Yeah, that's what I just did. That's what I just cut off. And then just go on the other side this way. It looks like I can just easily start tearing at this now. I don't care if this silver rips here at all, as long as it doesn't rip the black underneath. Right now I'm at the end of that. It doesn't really matter how far in I go for this one, because it's on the inside. You won't be able to see it anyway. There we go. And then we can cut off the extra thread here. Call that good. And that's it for that part. And now I just got to do that the rest of the way down. So I don't think I need to film doing this the whole way, so I'm not going to. I don't even need to time lapse this. You just need to go through the seam and rip this whole thing up, and then do that on both sides. So I have one side done here. This is the sleeve. Yeah, so it goes from the shoulder, from the collar down to the shoulder seam and then down the sleeve, and it goes down the center. Center, I guess. I don't know what else to say. If you're looking at it from the side, it would be the middle. I did do a small time lapse of part of this, and I did show my phone, showing that it was 5:16 p.m. And so that'll give you an idea of how long this took. I turned that all off and then continued until I finished, which is just right now, literally less than a minute ago. And it is now 5:54. So now that way I can prove how long it's taken to do this. I mean, it even has the date on there. So it's still today. Well, it's still the 24th of September. So that means that I didn't fake that or anything. So it only took about 40 minutes to do the whole side. So that's not even that long. I've taken where I've done something similar where I've had to hand stitch everything, and it's taken hours. Also, yeah, so I might as well while I have it here, I folded it over and then folded it over again so that it's folded into itself, so that this is not a edge, this is a folded edge. So the actual edge of the whatever, so like instead of like this edge here, that is folded into itself under here, so that way it doesn't fray out up there. Yeah, so that's done. You can see it's all stitched on the inside. It looks bad on the inside, but it's fine, it works. I have to do that to this one now. This one's really long. I have to cut it down when I put it on here. What I did was I took some pins and I pinned it down and very carefully figured out where the center was on the sleeve, because there's no center seam on the top, but you can see the seam here for the shoulder. And so I centered it the best I could and then did it kind of as best I could the rest of the way. It's not perfect. I don't think it's perfectly centered, but it'll be good enough. But I'm not gonna worry about doing this other side until later, because now I know that that's the way to do it. I can move on with the video and get the video done. All right, I'm gonna see if I can explain this very well at all. This is the shirt. It is jerry-rigged basically, but this is as good as I'm gonna get it. This was such a nightmare that I'm probably going to have nightmares because of this. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. I hate stretchy fabric so much. The gray is a stretchy fabric. So the gray part of the shirt is an actual shirt, like it's a full shirt. And I'm going to keep it that way because it's really nice feeling actually. This is the brand Opna, O-P-N-A, I don't know. I got it on Amazon. It's basically the Under Armour type thing. It's like that same brand, but Under Armour has a logo up here that I can't remove, and it's embroidered on, so I'm not going to use theirs. So I bought an off-brand one that works just as well and is just as comfortable actually. So I really actually recommend these if you like wearing those kind of like Under Armour type shirts but you don't want the logo. I highly recommend these. They come in a bunch of colors. I'll put it in the link in the description, but I'll put the exact color that I got. I don't remember what the color said that I picked, but I'll put that in the description as well. Like it'll be like the gray shirt, this color, like this specific gray one that's on the listing, and then it'll link it. And then just make sure that it's chosen on that color to do that. But you could also want to choose the color that matches your pants. So this one, when it's touching each other, like when it's layered up like this, it looks darker. I don't know why, but this is actually damn near the exact gray as my pants. And it just happenstance that it was like that. But it's just the way the lighting was hitting it and the way it layers itself together. But when it's on me, it's almost impossible to notice the difference. So that's good. And the bottom is sewn to where you can't even, like, the gray is like it looks like it would pop out underneath, but like you can see that, but you can't see it in the you can tuck it in if you want, but that's not even sewn down. So there's that. What I did here carefully was I took the piece apart from the top, whatever that top is called. This is not a shirt, because just the black thing isn't a shirt because it doesn't go all the way around. So I'm not going to call it that, but the black part of the shirt, I took that apart and I cut the back off, and the back is not fully around me. It goes over behind my waist, like, or behind my halfway point. It goes, so if you're about the halfway point, roughly 6 inches past the halfway point, I would say. So that's about how far I went around. You can make it go all the way around if you want, but you would want to use stretchy fabric for that because you're going to want movement. This is my way to make it stretchy. I'll explain that in a minute. But so what I did was I took that and I got black fabric. This is just black cotton shirting fabric. At Joann's, this is literally just called shirting fabric. I don't know what else to tell you. Get whatever you want. But this is a two-way stretch. So it stretches this way a little bit, but it does not stretch at all that way. So I made sure to make it stretch that way just so I had the most amount of flexibility possible, though I didn't end up needing that because, like I showed you, the elastic is what gives me the stretch, but whatever, I'll get into that. So I just copied that basically, made it a little bit longer, and then hemmed it up and sewed it together along that pattern line. And then I just took it and folded it in half rather than cutting it down that center seam. So this is all one single piece. And then Rimuru's actually goes up the shoulder, like up the shoulder here. I couldn't really get it to do that, and I wasn't sure how it would work out on the jacket because you never see even the yellow goes up like this, and you never see that when he's wearing the jacket because of how anime is, and they just keep the jacket closed because they don't have real physics. They can just keep it closed in the drawing. So I don't want that to show, so it's best that I got all the way over here. And this isn't even, it's not even to the seam. It's just, I didn't know how big it was going to be. I made this the day before this came, so it's whatever. But I did hem all the edges so that it, you know, it looked nice at least. So it's only sewn down right here and nowhere else. I sewed down all of the yellow to here first, and then figured out where everything goes. And then I actually figured out where everything goes, realized I had to sew that, and then had to do it again, which that was part of the nightmare. And then I carefully pinned on the black here under the yellow, and then just kept that with some clips, with some of these clips, kept that on there, and then carefully sewed that, pulled it all the way through my machine to carefully sew it down. I pulled it through this way rather than through the neck hole because, well, that's a small hole. That's a lot harder to get to work through a machine, but the stitch is on this side, the bottom, and it's a lot easier to do that on the right side of your machine. So, because there's a whole like line there that you can just follow, so it makes it easy. So that's what I did there. And then I sewed it down to the gray. You just gotta pin it down, try it on, pin it down, try it on, take it off, all that stuff over and over again until it works. You can do it while it's on yourself if someone helps you, but there's no way to figure out where the center is. So you'd have to like do a bunch of weird measuring and mark it off and stuff. And I actually did mark it. There's a black mark under here and a black mark somewhere under here where the center of this is, because I thought I was gonna do that and I didn't, because I didn't need to, it turns out. And then yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm trying to get this over with because this video is already long as it is. But anyway, so like I said, this was my fix for the back. So you can tell the back is not sewn together. So that is because I wanted it open for the most flowability. That way I didn't have to measure and flare, and I just didn't have to do any of that. So I can just flare it out as I please, and then just call it good, and then tighten it all with the belt. So it works out. So I just pin these down like this. I'm just going to sew them down later. I'm going to try to get black, but you can't see it through the jacket anyway, and it's on the back. So it doesn't really matter. But if I take the jacket off, I at least want it to look good. So I'll put black on there if I can find it. I have a whiter gray that matches this gray a little bit. Might do that so it at least blends in. We'll see what happens. But I have to keep this like this so I know exactly how tight I need it to be. This is tight to fit my body perfectly and not be constricting. And then when I put it all on, I put the belt on, which goes right around belly button area or so. He wears his a little high, like a military one, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, so that's the shirt, really. There's not really a whole lot to it. It's just annoying. So let's open these up. What, I want to use this one because this one will be easier to test with because there's not a crease right in the middle of the arm thing, on the hand thing. So I'm gonna. These are both the same on both sides. They just have the Velcro on them. So what I'm gonna do is pin these down to get the size that I would like, and then I can just sew them up and hope that they work. And I'm gonna use probably elastic around the wrist area. Oh, I also wanted to do something else that I forgot about. So let me do that first. What I want to do is I think I do have to cut the Velcro off of here because I don't think I need it at all. Well, here, let's go with this way first and then this way. Yeah, the Velcro isn't needed at all on this side. So I can just, yeah. Okay, so what I want to do is I wanted to cut the Velcro off. Actually, can I seam rip the Velcro off? I think I can. It's going to be a pain, but I think I can. Yeah, I totally can. Sweet. So I'm going to do that. Okay, you don't need to see me seam rip again. You're not going to be able to see this, but I can. When I have these on, I know roughly where I need them to go to make it slide on and off. And then I have, this is what you're not going to be able to see, down the edge here, kind of whatever. I can see where this stitch used to be for the Velcro that was on there. I'm going to mostly follow that. I'm going to start a little bit off and then go down into it and then just follow it down. You know what? I might just draw this out. Hold on. I have a white colored pencil here, so that'll be easier to do this. So I'm going to start out. Okay, let me see. So I'm going to start out a little bit into, or a little bit outside, sorry, of the thing. Yeah, this over here a little bit. So I think right there will work. Let me actually use one of these clips and put it in that area so I can close it off there and see if that still goes on. It does not. So I need to open this up until it goes on. So that goes on just fine like that. So this is the start right here. This is very difficult. Whatever, I can see that mark. And then I know that quite a ways into here is where I'm going to need to go. So I'm going to need to make a straight line that way. Here, let me just use a silver Sharpie. And do I have a straight edge? Here we go. I'll use this. It's what it's for. It's a ruler. This is its literal. This is the thing it's used for. So let's do this. Then I'll go like pretty much to the edge here. Like that. There we go. Do that. And then I can take the other one, fold it also together. Then I'll mark the same location on this one. And then also mark it on this side as well. Then when I take the Velcro off of this one, I have the markings that I can just use the straight edge again and go across. And I'll do that later. I'm going to do this one first and make it easy. I'm going to sew this up. So I'm using my machine to make this easy and go by quicker. This will be super fast. Don't have to worry about it. And this is just a regular straight stitch, so nothing to worry about there either. No special things or anything. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and sew this up. Also, I have a reverse button. You probably can't even see. It's over here. There's a little reverse button there. And that will allow me to go backwards like this. So you saw, I don't know if you could see it very well, but it went backwards and then forward again. So I'm going to do that a couple times at the end to knot it off a little bit, and then go straight through, and then do it at the end again. And then I usually always tie at the end as well, just to make it extra secure. So I'm going to do that as well. I can actually cut the excess off of here carefully. Perfect, that'll work fine. And then I can flip this the other way because they're symmetrical on both sides. And there's a piece of thread there. No, that's like a piece of hair stuck in there or something. Maybe it's a fiber coming out. I don't know. And then there we go. That's what I wanted. And then, so this piece of elastic, I already have it. I had to mark where it folded over with a pin to be the tightness that I wanted on my arm. And then I can undo this, cut a second one out, so I made them both the same size. And now I can fold this back over, put this pin back in there. Then I'll show you how this is going to work. So in the light novel, Rimuru does have some type of wrist thingy, like where it's like a belt on the wrist there. But in the anime, in the manga it looks like too, he doesn't. Okay, that could work like that. So you see how it's loose up here? That's what I wanted, just like that, where it's really loose. I think this will work just like this. That should work. And then I'm just going to sew this up. So I'm going to sew it up either here or here, or whichever, because that's where the ends are. One of the ends, it doesn't really matter which one. I'm going to sew it up. And then, actually, you know what? I might just do it the regular way and hide the seam on the bottom. You know, the regular way being sewing it like this. And then when it folds out, it's like a seam, just like this seam is down here, or like basically what I just made on this. It'll be this kind of seam. I'm thinking that might be better. This overlap looks nice, but on elastic it kind of doesn't work. It doesn't look that good and it frays. So I'm thinking maybe I will just do it that way, call it good. Which means I'm gonna have to figure out how to make that work on my wrist, and then all I have to do is do that again on the other one. But just like everything else, the rest of it is going to be off camera because you don't need to see me do it twice. Alright, so I've been working on the neck fur thing for a little while here off camera, just to make sure I got it right before I talk to you guys about it, so I'm not making this too long. So what I've done here is I bought, with a whole bunch of extra, this is a good 13 and a half inches of extra, I think. Yeah, 20 to 33 and a half, so it's 13 and a half. And I just made it really big. I just wrapped it around my neck and then was like, hey, a yard will work and that'll be more than enough. Bought a yard, and then I just figured out off camera in a mirror, I have a desk mirror, how far around my neck it needed to go, and then I cut that off. And then the way I did that was the best way to do this actually with fur. You put it on the back and then you mark wherever you want to cut it. And then you use a blade and you carefully cut along just this layer back here, because you don't want to cut into the fur and cut the fur into different lengths. You don't want that to happen. So that's the careful way to do it. If you cut just straight across like they do at the store, you get these little hairs like this. But for me, I don't need to worry about this because that's in the back. So let me tell you how I got this to stay together like this. And that is strap and buckle. So this buckle is just a buckle that goes together. I've never seen this one before. I don't know where this one came from, or I mean what it was on. I got this at a Goodwill by the pound, where we find a whole bunch of stuff where it's you buy it all per pound. It's like $5 per pound or something. And this was on just a random strap. I think it was like a dog collar one or something, or some kind of animal like thingy, like a harness or some kind. I don't know, but it's a really nice buckle, and it works really well for this because normally I would use something like a parachute buckle, like this. This is the kind where, this is a small one, but this is the kind where you press the sides and it pulls apart, and they're the ones that are in shopping carts for the kid safety thing. These are really good for boot covers. You put them on the bottom of boot covers under your boots. If you have a gap in between the heel and the foot or the toe of your boots and these don't touch the ground, I have a few that I can do that with, and it makes it really easy to put them together without having to have like Velcro that can come apart. So these won't do that. But anyway, back to this. So this buckle is very similar, but instead of the sides, you press here like that. So I don't know how well you can see it, but here, let me there we go. So you press here, it lifts up, bam. Cool, right? So yeah, I like this buckle better because this one, and it's going to be on my right side, so I got to figure out how to keep it like that. That way when I reach around my neck to take it off, I can just like that. Doing this type of thing when it's behind me is really annoying and hard to do. This, I just have to touch it real quick and it comes right off. As you can see, it's just safety pinned on with some straps. It's sewn to the straps. I did that on my machine. You don't have to see that. It's just sewing like I was doing earlier. I might leave the safety pins on there because I tried it with them on. I can't even feel them there. And it's loose enough that these are definitely not going to come undone. There is no force on these whatsoever. They're never going to come undone on me and stab me, so I never have to worry about that. I'm going to have to cut off all this excess, and actually I might do that now. And you might notice I have different scissors now. I can't find my other ones. These ones are way worse, but whatever. But these are old too. These scissors are like 10 years old almost, so they don't work as well. And then so on here, I'm able to do this very carefully. And that, there we go, that melts it together. And honestly, oh, okay, it didn't. I thought that was going to melt both the pieces together, but it didn't. So I can do that to this one too. I'm going to let that cool down first, but this can just sit on my neck now. And I won't even feel the straps because I'm not really going to feel that on the back of my neck anyway. Yeah, so that's it. Oh yeah, but for this, I have to figure out which side I'm going to have it on, which I'm going to have it on to where, you see how I can't open it that way? I have to open it this way. I want to open it with my right hand because I'm right-handed. So this will be sitting like this on me, because the way I'm facing, this is my right hand. This one will come out and pull it like that. So, or when I go around my neck anyway, it'll do that. So here, I'll show you what I mean. It'll be like this, where it goes, it's in my right hand, goes around me like so. If I can get it on. It's hard with my hair in the way, but there we go. So now it's on, right? And then I can just go with my right hand and bam, and take it right off because I'm right-handed. Which means I have to make sure the way this fur lays goes the correct way. Because right now it's going this way because that's the way this is made. It needs to go down. So I need to, I'll just do this real quick. I should put something down under this, like this towel. That way, I'm not getting hairspray all over my desk. So, we just carefully do that. Make it go down. Alright, this is the only comb I can find. Whatever. That'll be fine. It would be nicer if this was a longer fur. So, that's called a pile, the length. It's called long pile or short pile or whatever. I wish this was longer because then it would look nicer. His is a really long, like, pelt type thing, because that's what it is. It's a pelt from some animal. I don't know what animal, because they never actually show that, but because the dire wolves are purplish, blue, and white. They don't have black on them. So I have no idea what animal this is supposed to be from, for Rimuru anyway. But, oh, there's a string. there's a lot of thread from the table. And you can see some of this hair is shedding. That's because I had to cut some of it, because the sides had to be cut. So I didn't get it all off, but it's whatever. That should be good enough to where it'll look fine. It's not a huge deal, but you get the idea. If you can find one that is a lot longer and looks more like an actual animal pelt, that would be better. And just so you guys know, if you are vegan or whatever, I believe these are fake. So I believe this is a polyester fur, so it's not real, meaning it is cruelty-free and not a real animal. So the ones that this is, and it's the one I got at Joann's. I just got it in the section where you can buy like the trims, the lace, and the belt and stuff like that. They're a big white. I'll show you. Okay, geez, never mind. Maybe I won't show you. I'll put a picture up or something. These little white oval shaped things that have like strapping on it and lace on it that you can cut by the yard. They used to be by the foot, which is weird. It's by the yard now. But that stuff, you can find this fur. And this is, how big is this fur? 4 inches wide. So this, yeah, so this is 4 inches this way, and then however long you need it to be. And mine, let me see how long I made this, just to give you guys an idea. But I bought a yard, so that should be more than enough, because I had 13 inches left over. But let's put it at the 10 mark, and it goes to the 32 mark. So that's 22 inches. So, not bad. Yeah, and remember, it's loose on me, so that's what I want. I'm also going to make it so that the top folds in a little bit, so that it looks like it's coming from the inside a little bit. It's going to be a little hard to make it work like that, but it'll be fine. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this part, I guess. I don't need to really show you anything else on the collar thing. So next I'm going to be working on the belt here. I have the actual belt right here. So this is a 1.5 inch by, yeah, 1.5 inch, right? Yes, by 72 inches, I believe. I'll link this one in the description, but it's whatever. So I got this to be as big as I possibly could, because I wanted it to be really, really big. I'm making it so that you don't see, like, when you have a belt on and you can see this flappy bit, like let's say the buckle's here, and you can see this flappy bit from where it's buckled through. You don't see that on his belt. So I want it to wrap all the way around my body, like really far, so that you don't see it at all. And then I'm gonna like close it back there with a loop thing, which I have over here somewhere. But it's one of those things you slide on there and you put the belt through it. I'm just gonna have it way over on my side, or like near the back, so that you can't see that part. I might even do one of these. I'll see what happens. But so this is going to hold things together. So I have this belt buckle here that I got on Amazon, and what you get is going to depend on you and what can be shipped to you. So this specific one was like $11 or something. Like, I don't remember exactly how much it was. This will be linked in the description, but you can find a bunch of other ones. So this thing here rolls. That's called a roller buckle. The only buckles I can find that are two-pronged like this, that don't have this on it, are not the right size. I can't find any belting bigger than 1.5 inches. So I had to go with a 1.5 inch belt. There were multiple of these that didn't have the roller on it, which his doesn't, so those are more accurate. But they were all for above this size, and I could not find any belt bigger than that. So if you can find stuff for yourself, that would be a good idea, but I can't find anything, so I'm not going to worry about it. You're probably wondering why I have tools here, and that's because I need to make the belt. So this is just a leather strap. There's no holes. I need to make holes. So this is a leather punch. You set it down and you hammer it through the thing. There's an actual one that you use for this, for putting a buckle on that's wider, and I have it somewhere and I don't know where it is. So I'm going to just make a few holes with this and just call it good. You're not going to be able to see it when the belt's pulled through anyway, so it's not going to be a big deal. You're also going to want to heat up your leather because it's going to keep wanting to unshape itself, and that'll put a lot of tension on the thing that holds it together, which is going to be this binding post. I would put snaps in here, but snaps don't fit this that I can find. You have to find ones with longer stems on them, and I can't find them anywhere. There's ones you can buy for belts. I'm just not going to pay the extra money for it. I have these already, and I have a pack of other ones that are a different color. So it's not a big deal, but it's whatever. So this one I'm going to use because I have it. And I'm going to heat this leather up and then fold it where I want it. But first, I'm going to put the holes in it. So I need to figure out where those are going to go so I can hold this up like this. And this will go through like that. So I can hold this up here and grab my Sharpie. Probably should have had that on me. And then I can, here, let me unravel that a little bit so I can see it. And then here, let me make it easier for you to see. There we go. And let me just put this down a little far. So I'm putting it so it can't go past that. That should be far enough. And then I'll put a dot there and a dot there. Those are not equal. Make them equal. There we go. And then this will go about so long. And then I'm going to bring this over to my stool here. Which, here, let me... And then this is going to sit down like this. I'm going to be putting this on it like that. There we go. And there we go. Oh, not all the way. It's so close. There we go. So now there's... Honestly, I don't think there's anything else with the belt. So that's it for the belt piece. Continuously, like, so now I'm going to do it. Oh, you were not going to be able to see that. Probably. Yeah, maybe. So you can see I kind of imprinted it there. So I'm going to do it like part way through. So the hole stays roughly the same width the entire way down. Then I'm going to go down a little bit. Okay, so turns out this stuff is actually really easy to cut with a knife. So I was able to do the holes. So I did 3 of the hammer things, and then I was able to clean up the sides with... Oh, wait a minute. I need to actually do one... I need to do a little bit more on this side. I just noticed it's a little bit smaller on that side. That'll be good enough. But yeah, I realized I can just cut it with a knife. Didn't realize it was that weak. So that's good though. But now I'm going to hit it with the heat gun, and then that way I can fold this over and squish it down. And I'm probably going to do that with like something else. Maybe I'll just use the end of these scissors and just... That could work. Yeah, I'll just use the end of these scissors. So I'm going to hit this and then do that. Okay, it's cooled off enough. So now it's holding a little tighter than it was. So that's good. And then I'll just leave that there until it fully cools off, maybe even blow on it. That should work. And now it's kind of staying in that shape a little more. So what I'm going to do now... Oh, I should have put the hole in it first. No, whatever. I'm going to put a hole in it on both sides so that I can put a binding post in there. And I'll show you what that does in just a moment. Well, I'm going to have to widen this out the hard way. And that is doing this. Alright, now let's see what happens. Plop, there we go. And then, put this back on there. Get in there. Belt making is a lot harder than I thought it was. Alright, so this now can go in there. Now this, the I guess, length of this binding post is just like 2 millimeters or something shorter than the thickness of both of these layers together. So you're gonna have to account for that too. So you can kind of see. Yeah, you can see the silver in there because it's not big enough, but that's fine. It'll work perfectly. Now I just need to wrap it around myself and figure out where to put the holes on the other side. And then I'm done. But like you can do this and you can put it on yourself, go, okay, they need to be here. So then you put the holes there. I'm not going to do that on camera. I don't need to do that because it's the same exact thing I just did. So just know that that's how you find the hole. You can find it however you want. You can measure around yourself and then measure from here. Like I would measure from right here on a buckle, right there. So about 5 millimeters away from from where this did. 5 millimeters away from right there. That's about where the belt's going to sit when it goes through. So figure that out and then put the holes in on the other side and then it'll go through. And then once it's through, I'm also going to be putting a furniture tack in there. So I'm just going to be like stabbing this through it. So for some reason, wherever the belt sits, Rimuru has a random metal stud, the silver stud, just right after the buckle. Don't know why. It's about 1.5 inches to 2 inches away from the buckle, but I'm going to put it roughly in that location. So this one is not going to be the one that you see because I would not want this here. I don't like that. I was thinking of using a darker colored one of these for this that I have because I have a bunch of them, and then using this as the one that's on the other side. But I realized if that's not thick enough to go like to hold this together, that's going to be really loose on just one layer. So I'm not going to do that. I debated making that like you put it together and then that will be holding it all together. I might still do that. I'm not sure. I'm going to see how this looks, and if this doesn't look good, which this looks more accurate because it's a dome like this, but I love the way this one looks with the divot in it. It just looks cool. So I don't know. I'm debating on that. But that's the belt basically. There's nothing really much other than this to it. So it turns out I did end up having to do this with this one here. I'm actually going to go to Lowe's and get a different one because I realized in order to put this on, I have to do it from the back. That's not happening. This is going to be against my body when I do that because it's stuck together. So I'm going to get one that's, what is this, like 1/8 of an inch or something? Yeah, it's about 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to look for one that's this size, that's 1/8 of an inch and silver like this, and then just put it through the one and call it good. And then I don't know what happened again to my thingy over here where you put it on the end of the belt and then the belt can be you know what I'm talking about. It's like here, let me just take a strip of something, and it's like it's a thing that goes around a belt like this, and you put this part of the belt through it. So it'd be on the belt like that, and you put the part of the belt through it like a little loop thing that's made of the same leather. It's one of those, and I'm just gonna add that to this. It went to a different belt that I have that I was actually going to use for Dante from Devil May Cry 5. Turns out that belt doesn't fit the pants that I was using it for, so I'm just gonna do that. And this actually goes all the way around me, so I might even be able to cut it down a little bit so it's more manageable off to the side or something. But even having it behind me like that will be nice too, because I won't even have to use another one of these because it'll be behind me, so it's not gonna be a problem. And that's how I altered this Rimuru cosplay and made part of it. And as I said at the end, I did end up making the wristbands that go around the bands that go around the bands, the elastic. I did do them the way I said, where I just ended up putting them together, sewing across it, and then flipping them right side out. It was just easier to do that, so I said screw it. Also, the belt, I am going to just do this, where I have the one that goes, the one Chicago screw or binding post, whatever, that goes through both of them to keep it in place better, and just tighten it. I'm able to tighten it with my hands just enough, and the screw is long enough that there's no way it's going to unscrew itself. So the little one, the darker colored one, is a short screw, so that can come undone a little easier, so I had to tighten that up real nice. But this one will stay just fine. Don't gotta really worry about it. Also, I have not figured out a solution for this yet. I'm thinking what I actually may do is put a strip in the back here, like sew it to the top and then to the bottom or something, and figure something out, because they're not gonna see that under the hair anyway. and then just sew a thing there and maybe put some clips on that going in both directions and then just clip it to the back of this. That might be the only solution I can come up with to keep this from rotating. While I brought it downstairs to show the people in the house my progress and to show them that I was finishing up, this kept swiveling to the front. So I don't want it to do that. So I have to figure that out. But yeah, so I'm still working on that. Do whatever you want to make it work. Either that or you can just keep turning it around and just have someone tell you every time, or have somebody fix it for you every time. It's not a big deal. I'm also not going to attach the sleeves to the armbands at all. I'm just gonna have them under and just say screw it and call it good. I don't want to attach them. Anyway, that's going to be the end of the video. So if you like it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys later.